All right, Autobots, transform and roll out. It is the 22nd of October, 2025. That's an important day. This is going to be a day long remembered, and it's good to be back. It's without rummaging through news or just having little random conversations, there's not really a whole lot to talk about with Transformers lately because Paramount has killed everything. Isn't that great? Isn't that awesome that Paramount has just killed all of their Transformers stuff and Hasbro's just kind of like, no, that's it. I don't know. But Paramount's loss is finally our gain. Fucking finally. We actually have our leak finally confirmed. Somewhere, Dan is over the moon flipping out. I tell you what, Dan is flipping out to finally have this confirmed. So, if you don't know, and we're going to go through all the little details of the production as well, um, Deadline has confirmed our leak, which is that an adult animated Transformers series is in production. This is where there's a little bit of misunderstanding. There's there's a little bit of things, couple of little details, couple little things are getting kind of lost in it. This show was green lit, so I want to be clear on that. Like this is not like in early development. This show was green lit when I first heard about it and when I first saw some of the early art for it. This was a green lit show. Hasbro has given Robert Kirkman the keys to the kingdom because of the sales success of the Energon universe, Void Rivals, GI Joe, the GI Joe mini series that led into the GI Joe ongoing series, and then of course Transformers. Eisner Award winning, one of the best selling comics of all time in America, one of the best selling comics of the 21st century. Transformers, again, breaking sales records at a comic book level, the likes of which is unheard of, and the likes of which Hasbro just frankly isn't enjoying that kind of success in other media. They've had issues getting games out. And we've got game news, but we'll see what we get to today, because it's been a hectic day since this news officially dropped, and everything's just been going crazy in terms of marketing, in terms of people figuring out how are we going to market this, who's going to market this, what's it's like the audience is adults, young adults to adults. So basically, it's Invincible. It's Invincible, just maybe not as gory and as vulgar because the focus is on the robots and the GI Joe characters and a little bit of Void Rivals. So, just like what I said late last year when we first leaked this series that was in development, everything pretty much from then still holds true. If you don't feel like going back to those live streams and you don't want to dig through our archives, that's fine. It's there if you want to go over it. Take it or leave it. But the good news here is that it is being spearheaded by Robert Kirkman. He's not the showrunner, but it is Skybound's series. Paramount at right now, Paramount has no interest in it. They don't want it. It's their fucking loss. I truly believe this is going to put Transformers on the map. This is the pop culture breakthrough we've been waiting for. This is it. This is that breakthrough. This is what we've been waiting for. We finally have a chance to put Transformers on the map. If you don't turn out and watch it, that's on you. It's going to be your loss, pretty much. This is our chance as a fandom to finally do something with Transformers. So anyway, it's not a G.I. Joe show. It is Transformers, and it is inspired by the Energon universe. It is not a companion to it. So this isn't going to tell other stories in the Energon universe. This isn't going to be a companion to it, like, oh, hey, read the comic and then find out what happened here. It's not like that. It is going to be an adaptation. And it's going to be an adaptation with changes made. It is Transformers first and foremost. Spike and Carly are a part of the supporting cast. As the Transformers, I believe, probably by the end of the first episode, you're going to have a recreation of that moment where Duke has his run-in with Starscream. These issues are old. Like, our spoilers are pretty much okay at this point, right? I mean, this comic has been out. You've had an opportunity to read it, and we're just going to hit the ground running. From again winding the clock back to when I first leaked this, I do believe this still holds true. I do not believe Hasbro has overridden a decision, and there might be a better way to phrase that. But I do not believe Hasbro has come in and put their foot down and said, no, you can't do this. So first episode, again, should also include the death of Bumblebee. Now, I don't know if it's going to be exactly the same. Like, I don't know if Bumblebee's going to be offline and then be shot, or if Bumblebee's going to have a heroic moment. But again, that is going to be one of the big, that was at least one of the big shocking moments of the first episode. Bumblebee is going to die. And again, I think that's going to be great for marketing, in my opinion. So as somebody who comes from marketing, I'm like, I would eat that up because of just how closely associated Bumblebee is with it. But you can expect it to be the cast of the Energon universe. Now, Deadline only notes Transformers and G.I. Joe. So, yes, the G.I. Joe, I don't know if there's going to be potential for them to spin off and get their own series. They're going to be supporting characters in this book. They're going to, because again, Megatron's going to be in the thralls of Cobra. You're going to see that play out, and that's how, just like how the comics have done it, you're going to see it introduced that way. But also, I was under the impression, and there was art of the two leads from Void Rivals. So Void Rivals will, because again, it's going to be an ensemble. It's going to be an Energon Universe show. I believe, and we talked about this very little because we did talk about this in an older live stream when I first leaked this. I believe this all still holds true. But it's going to start with Transformers with the potential for spin-offs. So again, a G.I. Joe animated series, a Void Rivals animated series, but everything's going to start under the Transformers umbrella. So there will be Void Rival story bits in Transformers. I don't know how it's going to be adapted, but I know it's going to be there. There will be G.I. Joe supporting characters. And then, of course, you have Sparkplug, Spike, Carly as the main humans. And like I said, an adaptation of this Energon universe. And yes, this also means we're getting G1, classic G1 designs. Like we're getting that here finally for real. Like it's coming back. Like they're not going to be redesigned. Robert Kirkman was very specific on what he wanted when he, pitched this idea to Hasbro, and Hasbro said, "We love it. We're going to be hands off. Robert, go and take it." And Robert found a showrunner, he found a team, and now he is executive producing it, but he's not the showrunner. The showrunner is, again, another leak confirmed, that is Joe Henderson, who you might know as the showrunner of Lucifer. I've only watched a little bit of Lucifer, but I know it has a really passionate fan base. A girl that I was dating super into Lucifer, so I've heard good things about it. And then, because I don't know all of Joe Henderson's credits, 11, 2263, White Collar, Almost Human, Graceland, and then he also has Shadecraft and Flight of the Navigator coming up. So again, you can look through and see, you can look through his history on how you feel about that. But that's, I feel like Lucifer's probably the biggest known one. And then maybe, I guess, the miniseries of 11, 22, 63. But, you can watch those if you feel like it. I don't. I don't. I've nothing against Joe. Given that Lucifer has a massive fan base, I assume he'll be a good showrunner. But again, writer's room's already been assembled. Hasbro is hands off, which I think it shows an amount of trust and faith because, again, Hasbro and Robert Kirkman have been talking for 9 years now. Hasbro has been wanting to work with Robert Kirkman for a long time. Robert Kirkman was a part of the original writers' room when they were trying to figure out Michael Bay's Transformer movies, toward the end of that relationship. That writers' room was assembled. That writers' room is what gave us the Bumblebee film and the Transformers 1 film, though not without significant changes made, because, again, Robert Kirkman had very different ideas. But Robert Kirkman's ideas were basically get G.I. Joe in there and make G.I. Joe, Robert has those kind of ideas, but they didn't play out how he wanted. We saw the choices that were made. They were poor choices, and they led to a string of box office disappointments in terms of Rise of the Beast and Transformers 1. But that's because Hasbro really wasn't leading with a creative vision. And that's because of Paramount. Let's be real here. I mean, Paramount is the reason this has sucked for Transformers in larger media. And now Paramount doesn't even want this show. So the show is currently, as of this week, being shopped around. As of this live stream, no one has bought it yet. I feel like it's going to be Amazon. I don't think Netflix is going to do it because Netflix already had a partnership with Hasbro with that War for Cybertron trilogy, and that bombed. Again, that bombed because of who they had making it. I'm sorry. That show was, that War for Cybertron trilogy was shit. So I think Netflix is going to pass on it. I think Amazon is going to immediately go for it because of Robert Kirkman and the relationship they already have. I know Robert wants it on Amazon. Again, Amazon loves animation. Amazon really pushes cartoons. They have faith in their animated shows. They give their animated shows the attention they deserve, which is crazy to say because it's fucking Amazon. But hey, they're good to their cartoons. They're good to their cartoons, better than any other company, honestly. HBO Max isn't going to take it. WB doesn't even know who's going to own them within a month. So Disney's definitely not going to take it. So we can remove Disney. We can remove Peacock. We can remove HBO Max. Obviously, Hulu by extension of Disney. In my opinion, the only real potential buyers is... honestly, yeah, it's Amazon and Netflix, and I don't think Netflix is a real potential buyer because of the bombs they've had in the past. I think the real potential buyer here, I think it's Amazon. And we know they have a great relationship, and they haven't met with Amazon yet. I assume Amazon's going to take it. I don't see Netflix doing it. That's just my professional perspective. I could be wrong. They could be like, hey, this is a different team. This isn't like War for Cybertron. This is Robert Kirkman. Look how they've done with Invincible. Let's invest in this. Maybe. I don't think so, though. And Paramount already passed on it once. Now, will it come back around to Paramount? Technically, it can. But Paramount already passed on it. Paramount doesn't seem to want to do Transformers. All development has been shelved. There's no production on anything Transformers right now at Paramount. They've shelved everything. They are loose. They're talking with Michael Bay, but right now, nobody's signed on, so therefore nothing's in production. They had a writer, but yet again, it's another case of there's no production. There's no pre-production. We are potentially years away from getting another Transformers film at this point. Best case scenario, 2027, but that's them super fast tracking it, and I don't see Paramount super fast tracking a Transformer film like that. So Transformers at Paramount is right now effectively dead. So why would Paramount buy a Transformers animated show? I don't think they would. I don't know. That's me. That's my instinct. Especially since they've already passed on it once. I think it goes to Amazon. So that's how I feel about it. But like I said, Joe Henderson is the showrunner. Robert Kirkman is executive producing. I don't know if, and this is where it gets into some rumors. This is where, again, I can't stand when news gets out because then the rumor mill just heats up and it's hard, and you just got to comb through it and you got to dig and reach out to people. Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge might be involved in terms of consultants or in terms of references for art. Some of that information's loose. That I don't know. We'll wait and see until production documents start getting submitted. As for the voice cast, Peter Cullen is not expected to return. Now, we've been talking about this in our Discord. We've talked about all this in our Discord, honestly. We've been talking about this animated show for the last year. We've known about it for that long. So our Discord has been very active in terms of kind of dissecting what we wanted this animated series to be, and now to finally have it confirmed, I'm sure we're all excited. But anyway, Peter Cullen is not expected to return. He's canceled. He and his family have canceled all of his convention appearances. He hasn't been well. And again, he's older. I don't like to speak ill of anyone. Again, meeting Peter Cullen was awesome. I've met him a few times over the years between BotCon and other conventions. Peter Cullen's always been one of the coolest actors to meet. He's always very generous and very kind to fans and to the fandom itself, and he's a great ambassador for this fandom. But the last thing that came out is that his daughter, Peter Cullen's daughter, just asked for privacy. And then she asked for privacy, and then all of his convention appearances have been canceled throughout this year, and they've not scheduled any convention appearances for next year. So Peter Cullen is not expected in any way to reprise his role as Optimus Prime. No one is expected at this point to reprise their roles, but they're also not going with the standard Hasbro cast. There is going to be casting. There is going to be auditions. Robert Kirkman is going to be heavily involved in the audition process for all the Transformers and all the members of the G.I. Joe and Void Rivals. Because again, this show the ability to sell this show is because of Robert Kirkman's name being attached to it, and Hasbro is going to use that to their advantage, which I think is genius, and I think is well earned. I mean, I think Robert Kirkman and Skybound earned it. They put Transformers on the map. Transformers issue 1 was the biggest selling comic of the 21st century. Transformers. I mean, like, Transformers. I love Transformers, but it's never been that big. Now it's huge, and it's huge because of that. Not because of the movies. Like, Transformers has been a regular conversation online and in online fandom because of Skybound, because of Robert Kirkman. I mean, like, we're talking packed San Diego Comic-Con panel. That's for a comic book. Like, you don't hear that very often. That's impressive. And it does, I mean, like, you got to note it. It is. It's very impressive. So, and again, like I said, adult animated series, we're not talking like copious amounts of like sex and titties and things like that. Again, an adaptation of the comics, which gets a little violent, gets suggestive, a little bit of cursing. You're looking at things like that. And then episodes range from 40 to about 50 minutes. The animation style the animation style was kind of little bit of Invincible, a little bit of X-Men 97. At least based on the art that had leaked out, that was kind of that was the vibe. But again, it was high quality. It was Daniel Warren Johnson's art brought to life, which is, it's G1. Like, there was no mistaking it for G1, just a high quality, consistent G1 models. Very scratchy, very vibrant, colors in terms of that. And in terms of it kind of like, a little bit of that inspiration from the 86 movie with the color tones, which again, that goes back to Daniel Warren Johnson. He kind of set the stage for that with Spicer. So if you've read the comics, you kind of get an idea for the visuals. If you know Transformers G1, you get an idea for the visuals. It's stylized. It's going to be a little bit more stylized, but it's going to be, when you see G1 Optimus Prime, that's G1 Optimus Prime. It's just going to look better than G1 ever did. And again, like I said, 8 to 10 episodes was the word going around back late last year, and the expected premiere was around the 40th anniversary of the movie. So we'll see if it hits that, because again, these shows move around all the time. But so we're looking at a autumn winter 2026. Matching with the anniversary release of the Transformers the movie. We're looking for that release window. So toward the end of next year, if the scheduling and if everything has worked out, and if they find a buyer fast enough so that they can really get moving, we're going to have an adult animated Transformer series at the end of next year. So we could have a trailer by July, San Diego Comic-Con. I talked about this in the Discord. We talked about this weeks ago because we've been waiting for this show to get officially announced. I thought New York Comic-Con was going to be it. I assume the reason now that we have more information, thanks to Deadline, because again, we're not in those business rooms. We only get, what leaks out in the cracks, right? So my assumption now is the reason it has not been announced officially is because they don't have a partner. They don't have they don't have an announcement to go coming to Amazon Prime. They don't have that. That finally completes the puzzle, because we've talked about this in the Discord. We talked about it in previous Transformer live streams. Why haven't they announced it? Where is it? Is it still happening? And all these things. And it's like, oh, well, that's why. They didn't have a partner. That makes sense. You're not going to just announce the show and hope for the best. They're going to want to team up and market it with the company that's going to be airing it. We're closer to that now than ever. Because if Deadline's reporting it, we're probably weeks away from the show finding a network. I mean, we could be days away. They could have a partner by Friday. If Deadline's reporting it, we're close. Because they don't bullshit. We sit around and we run every little leak and every little crumb we hear. Deadline waits and waits and waits, which again, their prerogative. They're different from, fans who end up in the business and are crazy. So it's a different avenue, you know what I'm saying? But for Deadline to be reporting on it, we are days or weeks away from this show finding a network. And I say network, streaming service, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But we're that close now. So I'm really excited. I'm very excited. I've waited and waited for some Transformers news to excitedly talk about, and we have it. It's been rough because Paramount sucks. I mean, Paramount does suck. Paramount is, bowing to our political lunatics that are leaders. Leaders. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. That's what Optimus Prime said. Keep that in mind. But I don't think Paramount's a good fit for Transformers anyway. I think Amazon's a better fit. Even for the films, if I'm being honest. I mean, like, honestly, I would rather them just end the partnership with Paramount, because Hasbro isn't doing itself any favors. Let's be real. They're not. They're not doing themselves any favors. Hold on a minute. Oh, sorry, it was Snips. Well, Snips is a bitch. That's all I can say to that. Okay, now I'm back. That's it. But yeah, that's it. I'm really excited. If everything fits with that original leak, this time next year, we're going to be watching a high quality. And again, I'm getting on the hype train. That's why I say this will be a day long remembered. I'm on the hype train officially. This is it. I'm the conductor of this hype train. I will lead this charge. I have led this charge since the first trickle of this show leaked out. I have been a huge cheerleader for it. I'm as giddy as a schoolgirl. So, yes, I am the conductor of this hype train. I will pretty much fucking hit it and go. Like, that's it. So, I mean, yeah, we're finally at it. We're finally at it. This is it. This is the Transformer series we've all been wanting for what, 10 years? I don't know, however long. Like, War for Cybertron, what didn't vibe. I didn't work with that. I didn't like the Rooster Teeth stuff. I didn't care for any of that. So, it's been a long time. Like, high quality Transformer show. Like, the highest of quality. And we're on the cusp of it. I don't see a world where it gets canceled. Not with Robert Kirkman's name, not with Skybound attached. They have too much goodwill in Hollywood. They have too much goodwill with fans. This show is going to happen. And you better all watch it. You better break records when that trailer goes up on YouTube. You better click it, watch it, share it. It's time to put your money, so to speak, where your mouth is. Watch it legally. Watch the trailer. Thumbs up the trailer. Share it on everything when it finally does come out. I mean, this is it. This is our last chance. This is our last chance to get Transformers on the map. This is it. And by Transformers, this will also get G.I. Joe and Void Rivals on the map, because Void Rivals and G.I. Joe are going to be a part of the Transformers series. This is it. So, TJ says boo. He comes in right here. So, I mean, like, I can't stress that enough. I don't know when we're finally going to get our first look at it, official. But when we do get our first official look at this new Transformers animated series, you need to break the internet. You need to make it the most watched. You need to make it the biggest Transformer trailer. Maybe you can't make it the biggest trailer in history, but you can make it the biggest Transformer trailer in history. You have to share it. This is it. Like, this is really it. This is our last chance to put Transformers on the map. you fucking do it. Like, that's all I'm saying. You fucfucking do it. And if you don't do it, it's your fault that we don't get nice things. Because I didn't really care for Transformers 1. I'm sorry. It was okay. It wasn't the best. I like humans. I like robots in disguise. Like, I'm sorry. Transformers 1 not getting a sequel, I don't give a shit about. Rise of the Beast was a piece of shit. I like Bumblebee more than Rise of the Beast. And Bumblebee wasn't really a Transformer movie. It was just kind of like a little buddy movie, a little cute thing. And I liked it, but it was cute. It wasn't an ensemble. And the Transformer films have never really been 100% my cup of tea. They've been kind of weird. And then the one film was weird about the whole Statue of Texas limit. It was weird. It's been fucking weird to be a Transformer fan. The games, all of it. It's been hard. That's what she said. It's been tough. It's been difficult to be a Transformer fan. And now we're getting something good. Like, and yes, well, we haven't even watched an episode, is what you might say. And that's true, but based on Skybound's pedigree and Robert Kirkman's love of this franchise, and Hasbro giving Robert Kirkman the keys to the kingdom, I am starting this hype train. I am conducting this hype train. It's time. It is 100%. It's time. We're finally going to get it. And you better make it count. Yeah, I think that wraps it up. If there's no burning questions or anything like that, we're pretty much done. I was just excited about the show. That was it. I wanted to share my excitement about the show. But we're good now. We talked about Joe Henderson. We talked about what he's doing. We're good. Yeah. We're good. So that's it. We'll be back to discuss some more stuff, but we're going to keep it organized, and I'm going to do some more digging. Right now, this is the biggest. I wanted to get the Peter Cullen stuff out there as well, because to me that's important. Whatever happens with the voice cast, whatever happens with any of that, time marches on, unfortunately. It sucks. Time, people age, things like that. People retire, things happen, whatever. But there is a lot to look forward to in terms of Transformers. We've had great ambassadors in terms of Frank Welker and Peter Cullen. David Kay. I could go on and on. The Corey Burton, I just the immediate actors that come to mind, and I don't want to accidentally leave anybody out, but it's Transformers. We've had an amazing cast thanks to Susan Blue, thanks to a lot of the work that's gone on behind the scenes. It's been a treasure in terms of the casting for Transformers for most of the shows. So whatever happens in terms of the cast, I'm excited for and I'm interested in, but there is no guaranteed roles. I know that there are going to be auditions. I know Kirkman's going to be involved in auditions, and we'll see who gets cast. But the plan is that this isn't a limited series. This isn't like the War for Cybertron trilogy. This isn't a limited series. This is going to hit the ground running and just go, and it can go and go and go. And the plan is for it to combine aspects of G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Void Rivals in terms of the comics. So we already have a bunch of material to work with that could go on for a few seasons. And that's really exciting. Now, how quickly they go through the stories, I guess we'll wait and see. I know how I would kind of adapt them, but again, that's a matter of perspective and, what's in the eyes, and in terms of adaptation. But again, it's not going to be one-to-one. That apparently isn't Kirkman's initiative. He doesn't just want it to be one-to-one. It's not here's the Energon universe, but in comics, it's like, oh, hey, all this from the Energon universe we're going to take, and then we're going to add to it. And that's really exciting. And I hope it's Amazon. No matter what you say about Amazon, trust me, I can say a lot about Amazon. They're good to their cartoons. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for joining. I really do appreciate it. Be safe. Take care of others.